This is a continuation of a video that I last posted on this channel. So on the last video, I talked about the Sasha Banks and Naomi walkout. But I kind of did a little bit uncovering, a little bit more digging into this situation. There's a lot of details that are coming out now more than ever. And the more that I thought about this, the more I leaned into this thought. Sasha Banks forced Naomi to walk out last Monday. Naomi did not want to walk out of Monday Night Raw. It was Sasha Banks that forced her to walk out with her. So this is what I took down. So, as we all know, Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out on Monday Night Raw last week due to creative differences of a six-pack challenge. It was reported that Naomi would have won the match and faced Bianca Belair at Hell in a Cell for the Raw Women's Championship. And on the spot outside, and on the opposite side, Sasha Banks would face Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship at the same pay-per-view. However, it was reported that Naomi and Sasha Banks wanted to have the women's tag team titles featured more prominently on TV than being in singles matches for the branded titles instead, so they walked out. That was the story. But over the last week, there have been multiple reports coming out from Fightful and Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, and No DQ have reported as well on Twitter and posted that the walkout has stemmed from Sasha Banks' personal feelings over being outcasted by Ronda Rousey from not just the match being outcasted by Ronda Rousey from not just working a match with her at Hell in a Cell, but for being outcasted from WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble. No DQ on Twitter has dug deeper in finding out more about the walkout and the personal feelings behind everything. They have uncovered what Dave Meltzer has also said that Sasha Banks was, quote-unquote, mad about having her spot taken away from WrestleMania and having to face Rousey. Let me reword that. Sasha Banks was mad. No filter here. Was mad about having her spot taken away from WrestleMania by Rousey and having to face Rousey at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Apparently, Sasha was originally booked to win the Royal Rumble and face Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania before Ronda Rousey agreed to come back and take the women's title match. Instead, WWE decided to do what was best for business and for the money, and they went with Rousey once she agreed upon coming back to the company and that she would work the program and work the title. Cool. But there's more to this. There's something about this that is very suspicious. All the stories have recently centerpieced around Sasha Banks. However, there has been nothing that has been said about how Naomi was affected by this or how she reacted to this in any way. No one knows whether she actually liked the idea that she was going to face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship on pay-per-view and she was going to have a prominent role in the women's title picture. Instead, we're hearing about how Sasha cannot get along with Ronda Rousey, how she was jealous about Ronda Rousey, and how upset and furious she was about the idea of facing Ronda Rousey. It was never about the women's tag team titles. So this leads me to think the following. Sasha Banks told and forced Naomi to walk out with her, so that way Naomi isn't siding with a company that doesn't put Sasha first for anything, over anything I should say. Kind of in the sense, you're either with me or against me. This makes me really, really heated and really, really freaking upset and so pissed off. Because, like, a lot of people aren't paying attention to a lot of the details that are coming out. They're thinking, oh, this is about the women's tag team titles. This is about like the women's tag titles not getting representation. No, it's not even that. It's not even close. The more you gotta look, you gotta read, you gotta be attentive to pretty much everything that's going on. And I've been doing that over the last week, looking at the articles, looking at the headlines, looking into the stories of everything, looking on Twitter. I've been paying close attention to this entire story. Saying that this was not a work, this was a shoot, is 100% legitimate. It's 100% a shoot. By all means, this has resemblance of Stone Cold Steve Austin from 2002. Stone Cold was upset and had differences with creative because he wasn't booked prominently on the top of the card, but it was either Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, Triple H, or Kurt Angle. It was some of the younger guys that was getting a prominent role instead of Austin. He was being phased out, and he was booked in a match against Brock Lesnar that wasn't on pay-per-view. This has the same tendencies and has the same kind of build as this story right now. Sasha Banks having problems with Ronda Rousey, having her role lowered because she's not being treated like a star. Sometimes in life, you just aren't the eye candy no more in business. Business-wise, you have to do what is right for the company. WWE just did what was right for the company. And if you disagreed with it, oh well. They don't care. They got their money. They got paid. They got the gates. They got WrestleMania. They had everything. Everything went well. They got the crowd reaction. You people were reacting to Ronda Rousey. That's what made WWE go for Rousey at the end of the day. If you didn't like the decision of Banks losing or Banks getting eliminated, make that voice prominently heard instead of actually being cheerful that Rousey won the Royal Rumble and is going to face a women's champion at WrestleMania. Because damn it, we were all excited for the rematch. We were ready for the match. Becky versus Ronda Rousey. But we got the rematch of Becky versus Charlotte. We were excited for that because we remember what happened back in 2018. Because of Rousey versus Flair, the incredible match from Survivor Series 2018, criminally underrated, definitely one of Rousey's best matches of her career. Nobody really wanted to care about Sasha Banks at that moment. You know what we were caring about when it came to Sasha Banks? Doing a split in the goddamn Royal Rumble because she eliminated Melina. That was it. That was it. And here you are, getting upset. Getting upset about it now instead of at the beginning. But this makes me so upset because of how selfish and how self-centered and how disrespectful Sasha Banks or Mercedes Varnado is as a person, as a real legitimate person. This isn't about the character no more, Sasha Banks. This is about the person, Mercedes Varnado, Snoop Dogg's cousin. It's flagrantly so disgraceful how she has reacted to all of this. And it hurts because she's affecting so many people around her. She's affected everyone around her. She's even affecting Naomi. Trinity, who knows what's possibly going through her head? Who knows what was going through her head when she saw how Mercedes was reacting to all of this? Like I said, Naomi, Trinity could have been very excited, ecstatic, over the roof that she was going to get a Raw Women's Championship match. Because you know how long it's been since she had a singles championship match on pay-per-view? It's been a long, long time. It's been a really long time since we've seen Naomi in a prominent singles title feud. She would have lost, and that's fine. But she would have got the biggest rub of her career. And I always think of it as this. I always like to see black excellence. Naomi versus Bianca Belair. And Sasha Banks versus Ronda Rousey to an extent. Because Ronda Rousey does have a grandmother who is black on her side. So she is a part of black. So she is African American. For 2 matches. 4 women who represent the black community. Working an angle unlike any other. Instead, we are dealing with personal vendettas and really bitchy and childish attitude. All because of Sasha Banks. I really wanted to hold off on this video for a little bit. I wanted to actually take a minute to not upload this until later in the week, until I heard more information or more stories. But I just got so furious. I was fuming to the freaking core. I kid you not, man. I was on Twitter all day long. Follow me on Twitter at TheKidMaj13. I'll leave a link in the description to my Twitter page. I seriously have been fuming over this for so many hours. And the first thing I said was, if I can just go to the first thing I said. Okay, tweets and replies. I'm here at this. Right after somebody called me WWE light, being weird. It was a report by NoDQ.com that the title reads, Sasha Banks was reportedly mad about losing WrestleMania 38 spot to Ronda Rousey. The first thing I said was, keynote here. Naomi hasn't been said about anything else within this. All this Sasha news is truly just becoming more clear to me that Naomi didn't want to walk out and was forced by Sasha to walk with her. She wants to work with her sisters in arms, not Sasha Banks, because she's egotistical, so flagrantly, downright. I'm really fuming at the gates right now. There's so much anger and animosity. And it's because I'm so disappointed. And I decided to add more to it. I decided to post a comment. Said, let's add something else here to this. Naomi didn't want to walk with Sasha at first, because Sasha didn't want to lose to Ronda Rousey again and wasn't going to be booked strong like Naomi was. She told Naomi, walk with me or you're just like them. She didn't want to walk. 100% didn't. That's just my speculation. And I feel like that speculation is very much true because of how Sasha Banks was going to get booked. She was going to lose on Monday night to win on SmackDown, to lose at Hell in a Cell. Fair game. Fair game. You know what? That's fine. But you know what? Perform your fucking ass off. That's what I'll say. Perform to the very height of your ability. Well, Naomi is going to win, and then take a loss. Sasha's going to lose, and then win, and then lose again. It's God damn it. Why must you be such a bitch? That's dead ass how I feel. Sasha Banks has 100% been a whole bitch about this. For no reason. Because at the end of the day, business is business. You go with what the money is talking. You go with what the money is saying. And that's what WWE did. WWE went with what the money was saying. And that was the right investment. And it's worked out. And you know what? Ronda Rousey's actually not that bad of a worker. She's really good. Give her anybody. she will work a fantastic match with him. When Ronda Rousey worked that match with Nia Jax at Money in the Bank in 2018, a lot of people expected that match to really underperform. That match was one of the best matches of the night. It ended with Alexa Bliss cashing in her Money in the Bank. Fair game. I have to mute my echo real quick. It ended with Alexa Bliss cashing in Money in the Bank. Sure, but the match overall around it was really good. Rousey was absolutely fantastic against somebody who isn't well known for her abilities to work. Nia Jax. Nia Jax was superb in that match. She did amazing in that match. For sure. Held her part, did what she was supposed to do. So did Ronda Rousey. And she was not even that long into the company. There's another thing I added to this. So there's another report by NoDQ.com going off situation with Sasha Banks and Naomi could possibly get worse before it gets better. And I decided to add the following. It can improve for Naomi because it wasn't her choice in the end. Sasha forced her to walk out, and now she's under the can't work with her banner and getting the same scrutiny that Sasha would get if she did it on her own. That sucks for her because Naomi is so freaking cool. Naomi is very much somebody that you can really work with. You won't hear any person probably within the wrestling world who's been in WWE or not been in WWE have anything bad to say about Trinity or Naomi as the character or the person. Period. But you will hear people say things about Sasha Banks on a daily basis. And not a daily basis, but at least when something like this happens or just something else in particular. It really sucks for Naomi. It really, really does. Because she deserves 10 times better than what she's getting right now. Because she's under that label. Because she wasn't meant to... I can't even speak. I can't even speak because of how upset I am. Genuinely, as a wrestling fan, and as a person of the black community, a person of African American nationality, I cannot fathom the idea of doing something like this. I don't want to hear no tag team title bullshit. I'm through with that. This is about ego. This is about jealousy. This is about personal feelings. Sasha Banks, in my honest opinion, should be released of her contract. She should be released by WWE. And WWE can do their best to erase her from history. It won't happen. It's not that easy. I will say that. But she should have zero mention within anything that WWE did for her. Because without WWE, there would be no legit boss. There would be no absolute top tier women wrestler in the world. There would not be Sasha Banks. There would just be Snoop Dogg's cousin. Actually, there wouldn't even be a Snoop Dogg's cousin. There would be just a Mercedes. WWE gave her the opportunity that she needed. And this is how you treat her? This is how you treat them? This is how you treat them, Sasha? With a slap to the face? Can't even do what you're asked to do? Because you have something against Ronda Rousey? Suck it up. Stop being a bitch about it. Suck it up, deal with it, work hard, grind hard, get back in the position that you deserve it. And I'm here for all the smoke. So if you want to say that I'm sounding stupid, I'm sounding obnoxious, that I'm all against attacking Sasha Banks, so be it. But at the end of the day, my stance is final. I 100% am with WWE throughout all of this. The punishment was fair, but Sasha Banks is nothing more than a self-centered, egotistical little girl. And Naomi, hopefully, she sees the light at the end of the tunnel, and as she comes back, because look at what she has right now. Look at what Naomi could possibly have right now. She has her husband at the top of the card with the top guy in the wrestling world, who is the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion. You wouldn't want that for yourself? You wouldn't want to be there to support your husband in the end? To support that guy, to support your man? I know she does. I can't say I know. I feel like she does. She wants to be there. She wants to work with the best of the best. Because she's busted her ass for way too long for this. Don't get caught in Mercedes' drama, and Mercedes' ego, and Mercedes' head. Do what you have to do for yourself. And if you don't, and you stick with what she's going to do, you stick with what Mercedes is going to do, then Trinity, I have no idea what to say to you. I wish you the very best. To Sasha Banks, to Mercedes Varnado, I hope you get your attitude together. I hope you really see the potential that WWE saw in you, what you decided to waste. I hope you see the errors of your ways, and that you get yourself together. Because no business, no wrestling company will decide to sign you if you don't act the way that you're supposed to. As a professional, and as a woman, especially as a black African American woman. In the world today, women have high standards, lower than men. But I feel like we should all be on the equal playing field for sure. But at the end of the day, it's never going to happen. But this is very disappointing. That will be my final take on this. And if another story comes out about this, I'll be right on Twitter. I'll leave a link in the description to my Twitter. If you want to hop in the conversation, go right ahead. Tweet at me, DM me. It's cool. I'll respond, I will look, and I will read. I will carefully listen to everything people have to say. That's what I've been doing for quite a while. But can't say that I won't be disappointed in what I see if people are siding with Sasha Banks. Peace, love, and I will see you all soon.